Welcome to Unity, let's go! Installing Unity. So the first thing we want to do is go to unity.com and we want to start by creating a Unity ID. Go ahead and sign up for that, pause this video. Now that you've created a Unity ID, let's go to Get Started. Because you're starting off, let's go to Individual and go to Personal and Get Started. From there, it should allow you to download for Windows. This is mostly going to be for installing on Windows, but the Mac should be relatively simple and straightforward. So it'll prompt you with a Unity hub. Once that's downloaded, then go ahead and install that. And after you've installed that, it should allow you to open up Unity Hub. This is something that you are going to use a lot. So let's go ahead and pin it to the taskbar. I did a right click and pin to the taskbar. So here is Unity Hub. If you have a lighter version, then you might not have the most up-to-date version of Unity Hub. There should be a prompt around that says update to Unity 3. Plus, whatever. So go ahead and do that so we're sort of on the same page. And this is Unity Hub. This is the place where all of your Unity projects and their different versions are going to be sort of stored, or at least visible to you, and this is where you would start them. So let's go ahead and sign into our account with the Unity ID that you just created or already have. And from here, if it says you don't have a license, so let's go ahead and get rid of my license. It should be under Manage License, and I'm going to return my license. And it'll prompt me with no active licenses. So I'm going to manage licenses and add a license. I'm going to use the free personal license, and here it says if you're making less than $100,000, then go ahead and use the free license. So let's add that. Oh, we already have it. So we are now good to go. Now we want to install a version of Unity. So we can go to Installs and then Install Editor. From here we see the different official releases as well as the archive. Archive is if you're working on another project with other people and they have previous versions of Unity that are not visible on official releases, you would go to archive. I'll go over that in a different video, but for the sake of this one, just getting to the point, let's go to these long-term support versions. Long-term support means that it's not the latest version. The latest version is 2022.1, etc., but it's those aren't as stable. The LTS is more stable. It's going to have more or less bugs, and it's going to crash less. So here we have the version for 2021, a version for 2020, and 2019. So in some cases, say like Vuforia, which is an AR app, and package, I think in their documentation they say they have their most stable version associated with 2019. So if you're building for something specific, you might want to do a little bit of research and find out which version it's most stable with, because it's not always going to be most stable with the most up-to-date versions. But in our case, we're just going to get the 2021 version. So go ahead and install. Here we see the different platforms that we can install for. We don't need this right now. If you know specifically what you're going to be building for, then you can go ahead and add these platforms. Just for the sake of it, let's do a Windows build support because we are on Windows, and when we do test builds, we're going to be building out to Windows. But for anything else like Android, so any Samsung smartphone, or even like Oculus devices, a lot of VR devices use Android, so you would be using Android. iOS could be for your iPhone, iPad, when the time comes, their headset. Then for Linux, you have those options. Mac, if you're building on your Mac, then you would probably want to have Mac build support. Universal Windows Platform, that's going to be for, say, like HoloLens or Magic Leap, some of these other Universal Window Platform devices, some VR headsets. WebGL is if you're building for the web, for any sort of website, something like that. Documentation, yeah, you can download it, but a lot of the documentation that you're going to be accessing is going to be online. One of the more important ones is the Microsoft Visual Studio. You want to install that. That's going to be your IDE. That's what you're going to do all your C# coding on. Microsoft Visual Studio works on its own, but it has integrated itself into Unity so that the two work hand in hand pretty well. So go ahead and install that, and it's going to take 5 to 10 minutes. When that's done, then let's go into adding modules. So that was on the better half of 10 minutes. Now let's say we forgot to install something. So we can go back into our project. We can see our installs, and we only installed Windows, but yeah, say we wanted to install Android, we forgot to install like iOS or WebGL. We can go over to this preferences or settings icon and add modules. And this will give you the same sort of prompt. So now you can install the Android SDK, say we're now building for Oculus. Then let's go ahead and continue, and it'll ask you for these same sort of license agreement. And you install that, and it'll take, I don't know, another 5 minutes. So it has installed, and we can go to our recent, and we can see all of the different new things that it has installed. Now say you want to know where exactly these installs have installed to, then we would go to PC, to the C drive, and down to program files. And you'd think that they would be under Unity, however, all the different versions that get installed have their own stuff in it, and they get categorized under that version number. So it would be 2021.3.4. Here are all the other versions that I have. In the next video, we're going to go into creating a project and starting with navigation. Hope it was helpful, and I will check you later. If you like this content and would like to see more, consider supporting us on Patreon or one of these supported platforms.